you never really know who's going to appear and when. So just be ready to take those photos. Just waiting on the all clear here. Our first stop is just going to be in the Little Eturi Forest. This part of the reserve is home to some more shy animals. They've got really cool colors and patterns. Helps them to hide pretty well behind the bushes and trees. So keep your eyes out towards the back of the habitats here. It's kind of like a big game of hide and seek. We'll see who we can find. We do recommend by starting off by looking on the right side of us, just as we're making this turn to the right, and see what animals are walking around over there. It does look like there's no copy hanging out behind the bushes. They've got a beautiful black and white stripe pattern on them. They kind of look like zebras, but they're not related to zebras at all. Their closest land relative is a giraffe, and we know that because of the shape of skull that they have. They also have a really long tongue like a giraffe that they'll use to grab things with. If you can see, they are using that tongue to grab things. And Okapi's tongue is so long that they can lick their own eyeballs with them. They also use their tongues to clean out their ears. Okapis are endemic to the Eturi Forest, so that means it's the only place in the world that they live, which is why it's really cool that we get to see them here today, because a lot of people have never seen them out in the wild before. On our right side, at the top of the hill, there's a saddlebill stork. It's the black and white bird, kind of tucked off in the bushes there. They stand at about 5 feet tall. And saddlebill storks don't actually have any vocal cords, so they can't really vocalize. They shake or rattle their bills to communicate instead. And over on our left, there is a resting black rhino. Kind of blends in with the rest of its habitat there. Black rhinos are the smallest species of rhino. They'll get about 3,000 pounds. And they're also solitary, so that means that there's not going to be any other animals really, or any other rhinos hanging out nearby them. And black rhinos are crepuscular. That's like our cats at home. They've got a lot of energy early in the morning, but they'll sleep the majority of the day and then start to become most active around sunset. Over on our left side, 2 different species of antelope. The ones darker in color at the top of the hill, those are bongos. And then the ones lighter in color, or tan, are the greater kudu. All these animals have the white stripes on their back. It helps them to camouflage with all the sunlight in the forest. We will head out of the Eturi Forest now to see what other animals are out on the reserve today by slowly making our way down towards the Safi River. The Safi River is a watering hole to some more aquatic animals, like the Nile hippopotamus, and hippos can hold their breath for about 8 minutes, so they'll spend the majority of their day in the water. Keeps their skin cool, protected from the sun. So look in the water for things like bubbles or shadows. Let's see if we can spot any over on the right side here. But there are a lot of pink-backed pelicans hanging out over there in the grass. They are a small species of pelican. Not really pink right now. They start to turn pink during mating season. Alright, let's look at on the left, because I see some lumps over there in the distance that look like hippos. A group of hippos is called a bloat of hippos, and they can get about 6,000 pounds, but they don't have a whole lot of body fat on them, so they don't really float that well. They sink like rocks down to the bottom, and that means that they'll walk along the floor of the water. They don't really swim or paddle at the surface of the water. They're not doing backstroke or breaststroke or anything like that. They just walk along the floor. And there are a few of them over here on our left, so look just below the surface of the water because there's a couple of them hanging out. Keep your eyes out for the littlest one. She's just over 2 years old, and I do think I see her out of the corner of my eye there. She's really small, but she can be hard to see because she's so small. Now, hippos do have a couple of teeth that can get about 1.5 feet long. They mainly use their teeth for defense since they are pretty territorial animals. But they're herbivores, eating lots of fruits and veggies. On our left side now, crocodiles. Look at about 15 or 16 feet in length and about 500 pounds. And you might notice that one of them is keeping its mouth open. That's called gaping, similar to a dog or a cat panting. Just make sure that phone is tucked inside the truck, friends. My friends with the iPhones on the left, keep that phone tucked inside the truck. Thank you so much. We definitely don't want any snacks for the crocodiles. They are opportunistic eaters, taking the opportunity to eat whatever is nearby them. And they've got jaws that are strong enough to crush whole bones. So they'll keep their mouths open to help cool off their bodies. It's called gaping. And they'll do that to help cool off their mouths, let out all the hot air, very similar to a dog or a cat panting. Now we are making our way towards the savanna, much more open habitat. You can see on the right side, there's a tree with a really thick trunk. That's a baobab tree. Their trunks can hold about 20,000 gallons of water in them at their largest. And the branches on them are super, super thin, helps them to conserve all that water, so you may have noticed. The branches kind of look like the roots of a tree, which gives them the nickname the upside down tree. Baobab trees are pretty important for animals because if there's ever a drought or a period of time without water, the animals with tusks and horns can use the baobab tree as a source for water. Now as we're heading down into the savanna, let's see what animals are closest to us, grazing the grass. Looks like the ones closest to us on the right side are wildebeest. Now wildebeest are a herd animal. They'll actually gather in herds of up to about 1 million at a time. And they have those dark gray stripes on their neck. It helps them to camouflage with each other. That way when they're in their gigantic herds of 1 million, it's hard for predators to pick out the individual wildebeest and confuses them. So they're much more safer in their numbers. Over on the left side by the cave, there's some painted dogs over there, also called African wild dogs. Painted dogs are one of those successful predators in the world. They've got a 90% success rate when they go hunting, and they're called the painted dog because of that beautiful painted pattern that they have on their coats. Very social hunters. They'll go out hunting in groups of about 30 at a time. And they'll share whatever they get with the entire group. On our left side, those are sable antelopes. They've got the long horns pointing backwards behind their heads, protecting them from predators. And then closer to us, more wildebeest. Now, wildebeest will travel about 500 to 1,000 miles every single year in their annual migrations throughout Eastern Africa. They go through a giant circle in a loop through several different countries. Now, if you look straight ahead here, it does look like there's a couple of zebras. I think we'll be able to get a little bit closer, but keep on looking because they can camouflage with the bushes pretty well. They are literally straight in front of us, so as we come around the corner here, they'll appear on our right. A group of zebras is called a dazzle of zebras. And the zebras that live here are Hartman Mountain zebras. Now to tell if the zebras are black with white stripes or white with black, take a look at their noses. Hartman Mountain zebras have black noses, so they are black with white stripes. A couple different other species of zebras have white noses and they're white with black stripes. And there's also a bunch of these littler ones around us. Those are springbok. Springbok are a small species of antelope and they can jump really high, about 6 feet up into the air and 13 feet forward. More wildebeest on the right side grazing the grass. And then straight ahead over towards our left, two different species. Ones with the really long horns, those are Ankoli cattle. The horns can get about 4 feet from tip to tip. And I don't know if you heard the one just moo, but the one just mooed. They'll moo just like dairy cows. And then of course, a lot of giraffes over here on our left side. A group of giraffes is called a tower because they tower over everything. You hear the cow over there on the right side moving, making some sounds. If you look closely at this giraffe, take a look at how it eats. Not up and down like humans, it's side to side. So giraffes eat similar to cows do. They grind their food side to side. That's because giraffes and Ankoli cattle, they're all ruminants. That means they don't quite have one stomach like humans do. They've got 4 stomachs to help them digest all their food. Giraffes have really long tongues like okapis, so their tongues will get about 18 inches long at their longest, and they're purplish blue in colors. They'll use their tongues to grab the leaves off of trees, and they'll also rip the bark off of trees, which is why they need a couple of stomachs to help them digest. Giraffes spend so much of their day eating that they rarely ever sleep. They only need about 15 to 30 minutes of sleep their entire day to be able to function. So they'll take short little naps, 2 to 3 minutes at a time, completely standing up, but it only totals about 15 or 30 minutes their entire day. Now, giraffes are the tallest land animal. They have the same amount of vertebrae that humans do, so the bones in their neck and back. They've got the same amount that we do, but theirs are a lot larger than ours are. And if you look at the top of their heads, they kind of look like they have horns. Those are called ossicones. Well, crappies have them too. Protects their skull. On our left side, there are some mandrills walking around, and then on our right, a beautiful African elephant. Mandrills are a species of monkey. They've got a red and blue pattern on their face. And tiny little tails, and you can see that elephant on our right. Now, there aren't really any other elephants nearby, so that indicates to me that this is a male because males are much more solitary, especially when they get a little bit older. This one is about 40 years old. They will become more solitary, hanging out by themselves. Male African elephants can get about 12,000 to 14,000 pounds, but females on the other hand will get about 8,000 or 10,000 pounds. And they'll travel in herds led by the matriarch. So females and younger elephants travel together in one herd. When the males get a little bit older, they might split off to form their own bachelor group or hang out by themselves like this one over here. They're still able to communicate with one another though, because African elephants and other elephants are able to make infrasonic sounds, which is like their own secret language. Those are sounds that are too low for humans to hear. It's like a low humming noise. So we cannot hear it as humans, but they can make it up to 5 miles away. That helps them to communicate if there's anything like predators or threats in the area. So that male that we just saw can communicate with the rest of the herd using those infrasonic sounds. Kind of like a dog whistle, how it's too high pitched for humans to hear. The elephant noises are too low for us to hear, which I think is pretty cool. Now over on our right side, those are tusk markings from them eating the red clay. So they will dig their tusks into things to eat. Source of vitamins and minerals for them, and I do think we found the rest of the herd over here on our left. Keep on looking. Now the youngest one in this herd is about 6 years old, so be on the lookout for her. She's quite small. Oh, she's over in the distance there. Might have caught a glimpse of her, but we will see them around the corner here. You might have noticed that these elephants have covered their backs in dirt and mud. That's to protect their skin from sunburn, because elephants have really sensitive skin that can get sunburned just like human skin. And they're able to create a natural sunscreen for themselves out of the dirt and mud. So they'll toss that dirt and mud all over their backs, protecting their skin. They'll do that with their trunks. An elephant's trunk has more muscles in it than our bodies do. They've got over 100,000 muscles inside their trunks. And they use those trunks to pick up small items from the ground, so they can pick up teeny tiny items like rocks and twigs, and they can also grab whole watermelon with them as well. Keep looking over on the left for a good view of that herd. Elephants can hold about 5 gallons of water inside their trunks. But they don't really drink water with their trunks like a straw. They just hold the water inside their trunk, and then they'll spray it into their mouth to get a drink of water. They also have those really large ears to help them stay cool. When an elephant flaps its ears, they can cool down their bodies about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. That's because they have lots of blood vessels inside their ears. And they also can use them as like giant fans. Now we do see the little one. She's straight up ahead here. So just keep on looking. Most African elephants have tusks. The tusks of any animal are enlarged teeth. So lots of animals have tusks, including hippos and warthogs. They are just enlarged teeth. So like human teeth, if they fall off or break off in any way, they can't regrow those tusks back. And they get one set of tusks for life. A little bit closer to us on that left side, greater flamingos. The term greater in the animal world typically means larger. These are the largest species of flamingo in Africa. They'll get about 5 feet tall and 9 pounds. And flamingos are born grayish in color. They'll turn pink over time because of what they eat. The shrimp incrustations in the water gives them that pink color. It's got beta carotene in it. That's what helps turn them pink. So if you look for the ones that are white with gray feathers, those are going to be the youngest ones. And then they'll get the pink color over time. A group of flamingos like this is called a flamboyance. So this is a flamboyance of flamingos. And if you notice that they're bending their legs, the part that's bending is not quite their knee, it is their ankle. It bends in the opposite direction that our knees do. And they've got really long feet. Now you may have noticed that we are stopped just a little bit because I think there's an animal around the corner here that might be causing some traffic. So just keep your voices down because they can get startled pretty easily. We'll see who's around the corner, but they do have the right of way because this is their home after all, and we have entered onto it. So we will see who is around the corner. But in the meantime, a beautiful view of that little elephant hanging out with the other one. If you want to get another look at some flamingos, there's some lesser flamingos by the front of the park. They are by the Tree of Life, much smaller, but they are more vibrant in color. And if any of you have followed along on the show, Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom, there is a little one that was born recently, so it's probably still white with the gray feathers, as I was mentioning before. Oh, I see what animal it was that's causing traffic. It is a little rhino who is just about a year old, and she gets startled pretty easily, so just make sure you're nice and quiet because we definitely don't want to startle them. They can actually only see about 10 feet in front of them, so these are white rhinos on the left side here. It's a mom and kid hanging out. And they're really social, so I have a feeling that there's probably more nearby. In fact, I see some movement in the bushes straight ahead. She's one of my favorites, though, that little one on the left. She's so precious. These are white rhinos, and they can get about 5,000 pounds at their largest. There's also one over on our right by the ostrich. Now, rhinos have really sensitive hearing, again, because they can only see about 10 feet in front of them. And a group of them is called a crash. They are quite large animals. They don't have the best eyesight. They tend to crash into everything, so a group of them is called a crash. But you might notice that they point their ears to us because they're listening to us. So they're definitely checking us out. She just turned one in November. She's one of my favorites. So cute. On our left side, let's look for some cheetahs now. This is where they like to hang out. They have a beautiful camouflage pattern that helps them to hide pretty well in all those leaves. So let's see if we can spot any. Sometimes they're hanging out along the edge of the habitat there, or hanging out near the rocks, curled up in a little ball. Oh, it looks like there might be one just over on our left here. Really hard to see, but just barely you can make out the back of that one. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals. They can run about 60 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds. Cheetahs have lots of athletic abilities. They're the only big cat with non-retractable claws, and those claws act like cleats for them to run in the ground and get their top speed so they can dig into the ground with their claws. They also have a black ring around their eyes. It's very similar to the black stripe that athletes will wear, and that deflects all the glares of sunlight on a really sunny day because cheetahs are typically more active during the daytime, so they're completely daytime hunters. If you look over on our left side, that is a Kopi rock formation, and then over on the right there is a Bontebok, species of antelope. Now that Kopi rock formation is quite large, quite tall, and other big cats will hang out at the tippy top of it to see below them out onto the savannah. You can see the rest of the crash rhinos over here on our right side. There's a 2-year-old, the one closest to us. He's just about 2, so you can see just how big that they grow. They grow so fast. The 2-year-old is just about the size of Mom now. And then on our left, look at the tippy top of the rock there. There is a lion all the way at the top. So lions sleep about 16 to 20 hours of the day. She's definitely looking at something, so I'm sure she saw something over there. They become most active around sunrise or sunset. They sleep about 16 to 20 hours a day. Very similar to house cats, actually. If you give your cat a cat tree, they love to climb up really tall because they love to feel more superior than you. The taller they are, the better they feel. So they're like, I am much better than you once they're up that high, just like those lions. Now on our left side goes our warthogs. And then a little bit closer to us, there are some ostriches. Ostriches are the largest birds in the world. They're completely flightless though. They cannot fly. They can run at about 40 miles per hour. You can see the crash of rhinos on the right. And also the warthogs hanging out. Warthogs are the largest burrowing animals. They've got tusks like an elephant. Oh, this ostrich looks determined. Keep those hands inside the truck, friends. No, don't make any animal noises, please. Definitely, please do not make any animal noises. They do not want to disturb those ostriches. They can run much faster than we can drive. Now you might have seen those ostrich eggs over there as well. Ostriches lay the largest eggs out of any bird species. So their eggs have the volume of about 2 dozen or 24 chicken eggs, and the shells are even strong enough you can stand on them without them cracking. Ostriches keep laying eggs over time though, just like chickens do, so they will keep laying eggs, part of their natural patterns. They won't become fertilized though unless there's a male ostrich nearby, so they'll just remain a raw ostrich egg. Now, if you want to learn more about the animals you saw on the safari today, check out DisneyAnimals.com. That's where you can learn more about how to help protect these animals out in their natural habitats. Lots of extra fun facts about them. Over on our left, Nigerian dwarf goats. My favorite is at the top of the hill over there, just beyond a little house. And a young goat is called a kid, so you can see a couple of kiddos in the group. Now, goats don't quite have a circular pupil like humans do. If you look into their eyes, you'll see a very friendly soul, but also you'll see a rectangular pupil, because the black part of their eye is a rectangle. That gives them better peripheral vision because goats are grazers. They love to graze the grass. They're excellent natural lawnmowers, keeping it nice and short. So they've got that rectangular pupil, letting them see better, gives them a better view of their predators coming from either side when they're grazing. But a little bit different, the big cats like lions, they have vertical slits in their eyes similar to your house cats. That's because they're predators, so that gives them better vision. Lions have night vision that's about 6 times better than human night vision, and that's because of those excellent eyes. Unfortunately, friends, our time here is just about wrapping up. So if I have any wilderness explorers on board, you've been riding Symbol 1, that's SIMBA and the number 1. You can get your safari badge on page 15 once you hop off the truck that's come on with the path. Look for the person in the orange bag, and they'll get you your safari badge. The best way to protect these animals out in their natural habitats is just to continue learning about them. So I do recommend visiting the website DisneyAnimals.com because you can find information about all the animals that you saw on the safari today, including the animals that live throughout Animal Kingdom, Animal Kingdom Lodge, and the Seas with Nemo and Friends. So lots of fun facts that you can find.